I think that it is profoundly important for every physician to create the medical record themselves. He or she needs to create the record for this patient themselves. And this is not something that can be done by clicking boxes in an electronic medical record. I learned as much as a medical student when patients would come in the hospital. Many times they had prior admissions, and we sent to medical records. We got all the old charts, and I would read every word of those histories and physicals and op notes and discharge summaries. I learned more than I would have learned in 1,000 textbooks.
I tend to agree with that in a big way. I found similar thing. I noticed, in that transition going from handwritten charts that I would read and I would write and I'd give it thought, and then I'd read my colleagues' notes, from other services to see how they were looking at this. And you look things up, and then you look through other parts of the chart, and it was all there. That was that true record. What we have now is just, it's cut and paste a lot of times. And you also, because everybody's in a rush, you're not going back through that history the way you used to.
There's nothing to read. I've been asked by some defense attorneys to review records in order to prepare for a defense for a malpractice action. There's just not anything in there. There's nothing in there.
Listen, that we already, and people are starting to get dinged on that. Yeah, there you go. Even you think about it when you.
High quality graphics on this
show. It's like see one, do one, teach one. But when think about it though too, when you write something out and you keep writing it over and over again, and you've written it hundreds of times, even if you're writing labs back in the chart, writing the little fish bones and those little things, guess what? You've learned how to do that, and just even how to write out a full H&P, all that stuff.
I felt like. Don't you feel
it wasn't always the most efficient thing, but man, you did learn a lot.
Yep.
Don't you think they drove all this EMR? They claimed it was for efficiency, but then as the hospitals drove it on us, it was all about the dollar. They wanted you to code at a higher level, and then you get, so even if you were charging a level 3, you've got documentation for level 5, and all this kind of mumbo jumbo. It had nothing to do with patient care. It was just about the dollar.
And also there was a lot of and look at all the data that was being mined too, that basically enabled payers to determine what would be reimbursed, what we could ding you on, and it just became an elaborate way of kind of doing that too.
Thank you so much for joining us for this discussion today. If you'd like to learn more about our guest, head on over to our Patreon page, where you can access exclusive content, including the full segment of our show. Never want to miss an Inside the Doctor's Lounge clip? Be sure to click the subscribe button to our MD Coaches YouTube channel. As always, we appreciate suggestions for future show topics. Let us know what you're thinking in the comments below. And finally, special thanks to Ryan Jones, who created and performs our theme music for the show.